4 minutes to the host of judges, and the judges have 4 minutes of Q&A with each founder, and then they decide within the hour which founder is going to take home $25,000. Today, our entrepreneurs are representing consumer, and our sponsor today is Get City's Gender Equality in Tech, a Melinda Gates initiative. So thank you all so much for your support and for being here. And it really does mean a lot over the last, this is season 4, but in the first 3 seasons, our founders, we've had about 300 founders take the stage, and collectively they've raised $110 million in follow-on funding and created just about 1,000 new jobs in our area. So it is definitely working, and we're so excited to support these founders again today. For those of you wondering why I'm wearing a Red Stars flag, that's because the Red Stars are going to be playing at Wrigley tomorrow for their first game, I believe, that they're doing actually in the city of Chicago. So we want to make sure to support our incredible women athletes, and hopefully we'll see you at tomorrow's game. All right, with that, I'm going to invite our judges onto the stage. So first, I'll introduce Maggie Abels. She is Vice President at YoBandz Ventures, where she leads the firm's investments thesis in beauty, personal care, and enablement technology. Prior to joining YoBandz in 2021, Maggie was a private equity investor at Arbor Investments, which with $2 billion in AUM, where she evaluated, executed, and managed investments in middle market, industrial, and food and bev companies. During her time at Arbor, she advised companies totaling $200 million plus in revenue on a variety of strategic projects as a board observer and right-hand to portfolio executive teams. And prior to Arbor, she worked at Piper Sandler, where she advised growth in late-stage brands spanning beauty and personal care, fitness, food, bev, and apparel on strategic alternatives and M&A transactions. So great to see you again, Maggie. All right, next we have Hilton Irons, from an investor at Listen Ventures, focusing on seed and Series A consumer investments. He dialed his curiosity and analytical skills at Brown University, where he majored in economics. And upon graduation, he joined Goldman Sachs in New York to further hone his skills managing IPOs and M&A transactions and strategic alternatives within the healthcare space. At Listen, he's always has one foot 50 years in the future and loves to dig into digital health, consumer tech, and food and bev. So thanks so much for being here. And next we have Molly Lent-Santulli, investor at Springdale Ventures. Molly is an investor there with visionary founders to accelerate growth of transformative consumer brands. Molly joined the team in September of 2022 as a venture fellow while pursuing her MBA. And before attending business school, Molly spent 4 years working on the finance team at General Mills and most recently at Simple Mills. During her experience at these organizations, as well as her time as an intern at RX Bar, she discovered her passion for the CPG industry. And she has her MBA with distinction from Harvard and a BA from Northwestern with a degree in economics. And then we actually have a fourth judge staying. So we have Manico Ramirez, with a partner at Chloe Capital. Chloe Capital is a data-centric technologist. She is a data-centric technologist, entrepreneur, and ecosystem builder with 15 years of experience in strategic problem solving. Her entrepreneurial journey began while studying information technology at Rochester Institute of Technology, offering website design services to small businesses and developing a site to help peers secure IT jobs during the 2008 financial crisis. It's awesome. She has served as a critical technical support roles and founded an international corporate events consulting firm, launching tech corporations into North American markets through New York State. And at Chloe Capital, she builds and executes tech initiatives, spearheads virtual programs, and leads the hashtag Invest in Women tour. She's also a real estate and angel investor with a portfolio of over a dozen direct investments. So welcome. Thanks so much for being here. All right. With that, it is time for us to get started. And so first, we're going to welcome Makini Allwood with Plait. All right, we can see you, but not your screen yet, and you're muted still.
All right.
All right, you look good to go.
All right, awesome. So this right here is my holy grail hair product. I've been using it for years, and every time I do, I walk away looking and feeling my best. The only issue I have with this product is that when it comes time for me to replace it, I never know where to find it. I've tried to order it on Amazon and have encountered lower quality formulations. I've tried to pick it up from Target, and they rarely have it in stock. And when I order from the product website directly, I've encountered major shipping delays. My quest for this holy grail product represents just a few of the host of issues that Black consumers face when trying to purchase our hair care essentials. Despite the fact that we spend billions of dollars on our hair each year, the current retail options we have don't match our significant investment because they're often inaccessible, lack product diversity, and lack quality customer service. That's where Plait comes in. Plait is a data-informed, curated marketplace and delivery solution that connects Black consumers to all the hair products we need in one place. On our website, customers can select the supplies they need across multiple categories and stores, and then our Plait team will fulfill these orders from our network of inventory partners using a hub and spoke delivery model. Based on demographic data and behavioral characteristics, we have identified a target audience of Black women between the ages of 25 to 44 as our early adopters on the demand side of our marketplace. Due to the hyperlocal nature of our logistics model, we'll be focused on Chicago in our first year and predict a market opportunity of around $15 million. Although the current competitive landscape consists of several stores and websites where a Black consumer can buy products, Plait will be the only retail option that offers the product diversity, convenience, and accessibility Black consumers need. Our customer discovery has indicated a strong demand from consumers for a solution like ours. There were several themes that kept reoccurring in the interviews, including the pain point, I need help knowing where to shop for my hair care supplies. This pain point serves as an opportunity for us to create an offering that addresses this need. Plait Search is a free tool that Black consumers can use to find Black beauty supplies in their area and filter based on criteria important to them. This tool is central to our go-to-market strategy as it creates value for our consumer faster and earlier in their customer journey. As a gated asset, it also creates an engaged customer base through waitlist signups that we can pull from when it's time to run our delivery tests and MVP pilot deliveries. It also helps us create credibility on both sides of our marketplace while supporting our long-term SEO goals. This summer is slated to be a very important one for Plait. With the imminent launch of our Plait search tool and our plan to test delivery and logistics, this summer will give us the data and insights that will serve as the foundation for our MVP development in the fall. The $25,000 TechRise prize will help us achieve these milestones by allowing us to support our people, including hiring our first part-time Plait delivery driver and our marketing and development efforts, including a second iteration of our search tool later this summer. Our team consists of a mix of advisors, dedicated volunteers, and University of Chicago interns. Together, we are a diverse and representative team that brings years of entrepreneurship, marketing, and product development expertise. We're also obsessed with this problem and see the opportunity as Black consumer wealth and preference for web-based retail continues to grow. We also see the opportunity for innovation on the supply side of our platform. Based on our research of the 300 Black beauty supply stores currently actively licensed in Chicago, only 128 remain open, and of that, only 7 have websites. It's very clear that although these stores have the goods, they have yet to innovate to meet the demand and the moment. Black consumers are among the most tech-savvy and loyal, 2 factors that we feel should be rewarded with innovation and convenience. With Plait, we bring the beauty supply store to our customers so they can feel as good as they look. Thank you.
Great job, and great job staying on time. Judges, if you could come join us on, and Maggie, I'm going to have you kick us off with questions.
Absolutely. Makini, thank you for the pitch. That was really, really interesting and great. You explained a little bit about how you are going to engage and acquire your customers on the marketplace side. Can you explain a little bit about how you're going to interact with your suppliers and the beauty supply stores on the supply side?
Absolutely. So as of right now, we've done some customer discovery with the inventory partners. But what we found is that this is like a very busy and kind of skeptical group. And so in even establishing the Plait search tool, we're going to use this as an opportunity to kind of like leverage the engagement, whatever traction and data that we can get from that as a way to kind of establish credibility so that the next time we go to approach and nurture these relationships with suppliers, we can say like, hey, we have 1,000 users. Here's what they've been saying about your store, and here's what we can do to help you change whatever perception.
Great. Hilton.
Thanks a lot, Makini. I'm curious how the logistics of the delivery will work. So you're thinking about hiring part-time drivers. Will you hold any inventory, or will it be a just-in-time process where someone orders and then they receive the product?
That's a really good question. So part of the reason why we're so obsessed with this summer is that we will be testing our delivery and logistics assumptions. So what I'll share with you today might look very different from what we find out over the course of the summer. But right now we're thinking this is closer to like an Instacart type model where we don't hold any inventory and instead we fulfill using the network of inventory partners, Black Beauty Supplies, that will form as this process goes on.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Molly.
Thanks, McKinney. That was super interesting. My question is kind of building off of bringing on the suppliers, building off of Maggie's question. When you think about ways to get them excited, besides obviously increased revenue for them, what are some of the things that having this platform and the tech behind it, like what kind of data are you thinking about providing them or some other ideas to get them excited about the platform?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that question. I think there's a lot of things. So there's two diverging answers, I think, to your question. The first is, especially with the early adopters on the supply side, we're looking for folks that have a certain persona. So they're already really excited about the Black hair industry and the potential of what it can be. They're looking for opportunities to innovate and meet the demand already. So maybe they already have a website or, they're like really focused on their social media. So we already have kind of like an ideal first type of retailer that we'd love to partner with. So that's kind of step one. In terms of like onboarding and what we offer for them or the value proposition is that we can offer them some demand data that they can then use to make sure that they are stocking their aisles with things that people actually want. One of my last conversations with a beauty retailer, I asked him, how do you know what to stock for your shelves? And he basically was like, well, we stock a lot of stuff that we've always stocked. And then after a while, people start coming in and asking for certain products, and that's when we'll finally get the rosemary oil or whatever. And so I feel like there's definitely an opportunity there to kind of like cut out that kind of reactive aspect of it and give them what they
I'm going to cut in to get Maniko's question in.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi. Great pitch. Thank you so much for that. I want to talk a little bit about something that you mentioned at the end during your surveys. 300 Black beauty supply stores down to about 120 plus of them still around, and then 7 of them have websites. What is your kind of idea around those websites? Like, are you guys wanting to try to supply? Like,
about 10 seconds. You got to go quick answer. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I have a hard time understanding your question.
I think I'm so sorry. We're going to have to cut that off just to keep it fair because we're at the 8-minute mark, but maybe it's something you guys can handle over in the chat if that's okay.
Absolutely.
So, okay, great job. Thank you all so much. And next we're going to invite Monahan with YoBandz. All right, we can see your screen, but we can't see you yet. Come back on until you are ready.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear and see you. You're great. So
Okay.
we're ready when you are.
Okay, I'm ready. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Imagine the world today where we are constantly looking for ways to keep our hair out of our face, but can be both fashionable and comfortable. But here is the problem that we are facing today. Hair accessories can be very painful. The traditional headbands on the market today causes headaches and pressure behind the ears. They fall off because they're either too big or too small and can only be worn for a few hours at a time. As a Vivid headband user, I was frustrated because I couldn't find anything that was comfortable but yet fashionable. So I've created the fashionable clip-on headband that combines both comfort and style. Hello, my name is Monahan, and I am the CEO and founder of YoBandz. And this is how it works. If you're familiar with these hard plastic headbands that hurt behind the ears, the YoBandz headbands forms around the individual's head because, as we all know, everyone's head size is different. Once you form it where you want it, you're then going to open the clips on each end. You're going to slide it on just like a headband. Once you have it where you want it, you're then going to clip the hair on each end, and this will keep it from slipping off or hurting behind the ears. The global hair headband market size is projected to grow to $5.8 billion by 2028. By targeting women aged 18 to 45 in the US with the market rate at 3%, this would aim to capture a market size of 3.1 billion women. My go-to strategy market is selling to local farmers markets, which have been successful so far. However, in the future with the funding, I want to expand into the bridal industry in two ways: by being in-person contact with potential customers by attending bridal shows and expos, and number two, having a digital marketing strategy to direct to consumers through website and social media. My sales are direct to consumers through pop-ups, my website, Amazon, and Grommet, which these sales consist of orders all around the US. I have worked with Tradewinds on the first step of the manufacturing process. Tradewinds is an agency in Northwest Indiana that provides services and employs people with physical disabilities. As you can see in the comparison of other headbands on the market today, what sets YoBandz apart from the rest is that my headbands are pain-free, slip-proof, and comfortable. And the number one question that I get asked the most is, where were you when I was growing up? As a Latina founder, I've been in business for 3 years. I started this business with a deep passion for finding a comfortable fitting headband that everyone can wear from all ages and genders. My marketing specialist and Tradewinds are both part of my team. However, due to funding, I had to put them on hold. With the $25,000 impact, this will allow me to get to the next level by having a more functional website, help refine my branding and email marketing to gain traction, to help scale product inventory and manufacturing. And I would like to get my product featured on Modern Inventor, which is a CBS TV show. And last, to hire someone to work on the marketing material to market into the bridal industry. So who wants to go down this journey with me and discover the comfort and style that you all deserve? And why? Because comfort is our thing. So let YoBandz be part of your everyday hair routine. Just clip and go. And for more information, go to YoBandz.com. Thank you.
All right, Hilton, can you kick us off?
Happy to. Thank you so much, Yolanda. Really interesting pitch. I'm very curious how you think about different styles of the YoBandz. So what's your decision-making process for coming out with a different style? And then how is the price point relative to some of the competitors?
As far as styles, when I first started, I was doing colors and glittery stuff, patterns that were based on me. But as I was doing my farmers markets, I heard the customers. One customer said, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing the denim pattern?" And I go, "No, not really." Oh my God, come to find out, that is my heaviest hitter right now, is the blue denim and the black denim.
Thank you.
Molly.
Yeah, thank you. That was super interesting. I'm curious, if you had to pick now, what retailer would be like your dream launch retailer if you were going to go into stores in the near future?
Oh my God. Actually, there's two. One of them is Macy's, because I know that's a female store. And number two would be Walgreens, because I physically work at Walgreens for the past 33 years. And I know a little bit behind the scenes as far as the marketing and how all that goes behind the scenes.
Maniko.
Hi. What are you doing to protect the idea and ensure that it won't be duplicated? I love it, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Right now, I tried to patent it. However, there's 2 prior arts out there that has bits and pieces of what I have. And since that's out there, I wasn't allowed to patent it. But I'm going to revisit that down the road coming soon. And but I was able to trademark the name. That's as far as I got. But yeah, I plan on revisiting that in the future.
Maggie.
Thanks, Yolanda. I have a question about the extendability of the product and how many people can use it based on the design. So I'm curious, does it work with all hair types? I know you said it works with all head sizes and things like that. Does it work with all different hair types? Like how about kinky coily hair?
Yeah, it works with long hair, short hair, curly hair, and with a hair weave. I did do some trials and errors with the hair weave, and I was shocked to see how many people that do the hair weave wear it. But yeah.
We have time for another question if anyone has one. Yo, is there any final words for the judges before you go?
I do plan on exploring other options as because I don't know if you saw on the slide, but I am doing the Women's Expo Center, the trade show in October in Chicago. So I'm hoping, and this is going to be the biggest show ever that I've done. So I'm hoping that somewhere in there, someone will find me and partner up with me. And my future plan is to expand onto the headbands where I have the detachable hair bows, detachable ears, detachable novelty. And that's another one of my sellers at my shows right now.
Great. It seems like a great gift idea. So hopefully people watching will come and buy. All right. Thanks, judges, and great job, Yo. All right.
Thank you.
And next, we're going to invite Veronica Peterson with FlashHoops. Great. We can see you and your screen.
Awesome. All right. Meet Jordan, my 2-year-old son. Yeah, he totally has us wrapped around his little fingers. Becoming a mom meant getting hit almost immediately with the weight of responsibility for his development throughout life, or at least the next 18 years. And with that anxiety and adrenaline, I began to look into child development and learning. And then it got even scarier, because I learned that many of our young learners were testing 1 to 2 grade levels behind in math post-pandemic. Now you might say, well, math is hard, but let me take you into what that means for the future of a child. They continue to fail, barely graduate high school, and struggle to function and succeed as an adult. And this is not a temporary issue, because the fact is that 70% of students across the nation today do not meet math proficiency standards. This is our nation's future. This would be my son's future. And so I asked myself, how could we get youth more engaged in learning? With FlashHoops. I'm Veronica Peterson, a former professional basketball player with a computer science degree, and we created FlashHoops to help kids develop their math skills, fusing sports and technology alongside some of their favorite celebrity athletes. With this masterclass for youth, we are developing skills, boosting retention, and raising proficiency, and here's how. FlashHoops users follow along with their selected coach through a guided workout while answering problems. Each session uses voice recognition, allowing us to track performance and use machine learning to provide tailored feedback and status reports to parents and educators. Youth go on a learning journey, earning badges and moving up the ranks from mascot to MVP. Math and sport are relevant to youth around the globe, but we are starting with the 11 million youth in our backyard of the Midwest. We have 2 ways that we earn money. On the B2B side, we have schools and organizations who pay per student to access FlashHoops curriculum. And we have our freemium subscription plan for youth to use FlashHoops on personal devices everywhere. We are attacking the market in 3 phases, initially through social impact partnerships and word of mouth. In the next 2 years, we will be working more closely with larger partners such as the NBA and WNBA Cares. Finally, our path to reaching 1 million MRR will be a mix of these efforts along with exclusive partnerships of the top agencies in athletics. It's been a busy first 6 months. We were selected pre-product as one of 9 startups in the A16Z Accelerator, followed by launching a mobile pilot with over 150 Chicago youth, where our top users logged over 100 sessions in under 30 days. In our school pilot, we learned that more than half of our students felt FlashHoops boosted their confidence, and 80% of teachers felt FlashHoops fit daily curriculum. We have several indirect competitors in skills training and education. However, none have taken the best of both of these worlds and added technology and targeted young learners with the purpose and intention that we have. I am proud to lead a diverse team with decades of experience working at places like the Cameo app and Uber. This week, we launched a new version of our app with elite athletes from places like Notre Dame and the University of Michigan. And we have partnerships at camps and clinics with the WNBA Chicago Sky, Northwest Indiana Summer Labs, and South Bend Boys and Girls Club. Winning the $25,000 from TechRise will allow us to properly staff our activations and secure further engineering support as we onboard our first 100,000 users. We get the most out of helping moms like this who told us that FlashHoops is amazing. And after having a really hard time with math in school, she believes it would have changed her grades and entire education experience. We look forward to your vote. And the next time you're looking after a young learner, remember, it's FlashHoops time. Thank you.
Can't wait to try this summer with my boys.
I was going to say, that's right.
I'm ready. All right. Thanks so much. Great job. Molly, will you kick us off with some questions?
Yeah, that was super interesting. It sounds really fun. I definitely want to try it myself. I'm curious on the school partnering with schools. How did you approach school districts, and what's some of the feedback you've gotten after? I mean, I know you said the student feedback, but curious from the schools themselves and school districts, what kind of feedback you've gotten on the product?
Yeah, so that's been a great journey. We've had a lot of great personal connections to educators, both within my family, but then our leadership team. My head of partnerships actually has a long relationship with CPS, which is one of the top 4 school districts in the country. So he's done a lot of contract work with them and was able to really introduce us to superintendents and principals. Our pilot was in Northwest Indiana. And the principals, the math teachers, the gym teachers, the assistant principal, they all told us this is something for 5 to 15 minutes that we could do in the classroom throughout for our math refreshers and even in the gym class, because they need that extra out of school and out of class practice on these math facts. So it's been overwhelmingly positive.
Nico.
Hi, thank you for the presentation, the pitch, amazing. What would you have for everyone that's watching right now, like one ask that for everyone? I have some introductions that I would love to make to you that I've written down, but for the audience, what would be your one ask of what you guys need at this moment?
For the audience or for you all? Investors might be different. It's the audience.
Both.
For both, from the audience, go download FlashHoops. We've spent, blood, sweat, and tears into it. I'm a technical founder, so that means part of that code is mine. So go use it and let us know what you think, and we're listening to our customers. From investors, we're ready to go. We've got some contracts looming. We've got partnerships looming. I've got a team that deserves to be able to do this full time, and that's what I'm working for.
Maggie.
Thanks so much, Veronica. I love the partnerships that you explained in your deck. That's really, really intriguing. My question is regarding kind of the safety and efficacy guidelines that you're targeting and that you're using to pitch your B2B partners. So I'm curious, specifically starting with the efficacy side, you mentioned some consumer perception studies that you may have done. I'm curious what you're doing to show the efficacy of how the product can improve math outcomes for students, maybe now or that you want to do in the future.
For sure. One thing that I love about, using technology the way that we're using it is we're able to actually go on this learning journey with the individual student. So we are tracking their performance, even in the classroom. So we're able to say, Timmy's getting better at multiplication at the 5th grade level, or he's not. And these are some problems that we recommend that you use for him in your upcoming lesson or homeworks. And
I'm
then
going to cut you off so Hilton can get a quick question in. Sorry, we got 30 seconds. So go
Awesome.
Quickly.
Thanks, Veronica. Really cool. My question is, what does it look like from the athlete side? So what's the the time constraint on their side, and how does that move forward as the product evolves?
For sure. So, we do a product share with our athletes, almost like Sports Spotify. And as a former collegiate athlete, myself knowing the NIL opportunities, we leverage that for them to bring them on board. And then, of course, we signed our first NBA player this month too. So really excited about that.
Congratulations. Great job, everyone, getting it done just in time. All right. Great job, Veronica. And next, we're going to invite Cassidy Stratton with Framewrks. Maggie, you mind going video off for us? Perfect. We can see everything. We're ready for you.
Okay. All right. 4.65 billion people in the world wear some form of corrective eyewear, including me. Hi, I am Cassidy Stratton, and my company Framewrks designs eyewear for underrepresented facial features. I started wearing frames in the 7th grade, and so this venture really started as a passion project to build some dope frames, but it quickly turned into a reality check. Eurocentric beauty has been the foundation of the eyewear industry for years, leaving Black and brown folks without frames that properly fit. Was I surprised by that? No. However, I was shocked to learn that poor fitting frames have the potential to be fatal. And 75% of our Black and brown survey respondents said that they find fit, along with durability and style, frustrating about their current eyewear options. In an industry that touches so many folks, these issues need to be addressed, and that's where Framewrks comes in. Framewrks designs eclectic, high-quality, customizable eyewear for Black and brown spectacle wearers. Our goal is to make them feel seen, literally. The Framewrks eyewear system allows customers to build their own frames. It's like Legos for eyewear. The frame fronts, bridges, and temples are designed as components instead of one piece, allowing for a precise fit, easy replacement, and expansive customization. They're stylish and functional. We've researched our competitors, and while there are a few brands out there that attempt to offer the same value as Framewrks, none do it as robustly. Our modular design truly sets us apart from the rest. And there's never been a better time to explore this industry. With the increase in screen time and digitalization, the need for corrective eyewear is on the rise, and the US market is expected to reach $48.3 billion by 2032. Our target audience of Black and brown spectacle wearers ages 18 to 44 who work and live in urban communities in the United States make up about 8% of that market. And we've predicted $1.56 million in potential revenue with 5,200 early adopters. Our email subscriber list of over 100 folks are eager for our launch, and we plan to build that group of people through an integrated marketing approach. We want to position Framewrks as a human-first eyewear company, so we will use my personal lived experience to humanize the brand and to build trust with our target audience. We also plan to emphasize our commitment to our customers through educational content, partnerships, and a social impact program. Although we're in the pre-launch phase, we've already made a lot of progress participating in pre-accelerator programs and pitching opportunities, and we're excited to be creating our first initial prototype by the end of this month. We are raising a $250,000 round, and the $25,000 from this competition will go towards contracting a mechanical engineer to support finalizing our prototyping specs and technical requirements needed to really build relationships with manufacturers. From there, we will also use the money to invest in starting our patent journey. It's safe to say that these funds will be critical in bringing Framewrks to market by this time next year. The Framewrks team is passionate and skillful and knowledgeable, and we work to our strengths to approach the problem at hand. And we're grateful to be surrounded by an amazing ecosystem and networks of folks that believe in our mission, giving us a larger capacity to build the business. Thank you so much for listening and considering investing in Framewrks as we work to give Black and brown folks what they deserve to see and be seen. Thank you.
Great job, Cassidy. Thank you. Aniko, can you ask the first question?
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing idea. Thank you so much for presenting. How much waste is created in plastics when now individuals are able to design all the components, and how would that affect, our climate? Or is there any waste, additional waste?
There's not additional ways. So essentially what we plan to do is there are certain measurements, standard measurements that will exist for each component, and you would basically purchase one piece of each component. So the temple, the bridge, and the frame fronts. So it's not different from what would already be created for a standard eyewear. It's just customized to your face. So they're retractable, and I can show you I could show you like some sketches so you could understand, but they're adjustable. So it'll be multiple options in one component.
Excellent. I'd love to hear it.
Maggie.
Cassidy, thank you. I'd love to know a little bit just more about the product itself. In some of the ways that you can combine or that the components themselves are different. What I'm trying to understand is how much of a manufacturing lift that you have. Are you doing your own custom tooling to do some of those bespoke components, or are you able to leverage what your manufacturers have already created from a tooling perspective?
Yes, there will need to be custom molds for the frames just because the build is going to be completely different than what's already out in the market. But once we're able to design and build those molds, it'll be a plug and play. And so, yeah, it won't necessarily be this like huge process, and that's an ongoing lift. And like people aren't going to get these like bespoke kits per se, but it will help educate them on what's the proper fit so that they can continue to use the product in the future.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hilton.
Thanks a lot, Cassidy. How are you thinking about measurement from a consumer perspective? So how are they understanding what the right fit is for them?
Yep. Our goal is once we reach folks through ads or social media that they're brought to our website and they're able to put in a request to receive a measurement tape that really our platform will help guide them through measuring their face. Also, some folks go to the optometrist or meet with opticians and they'll already have those measurements and can input those, and then we'll give them a real-time output of what the best frame would be for them.
Molly.
Yeah, you mentioned that you're part of the face of the brand and sharing your personal story. How is that going to come through on social media, and what's kind of your marketing strategy on social so far?
For sure. I haven't started my marketing strategy, but I do have a marketing background. And so my goal is to really start telling more about my entrepreneurship journey and the story to building Framewrks start to end. And I think that will really resonate with folks. I'm also hoping to host a few live streams and also start with some content marketing through a blog and a newsletter where I'm starting to educate folks on the importance of this issue and really close the gap in the missing research that exists.
Any final thoughts, Cassidy, before we close?
No, thank you all so much and excited to be a part of this.
Well, great job. Thanks, judges, for your questions. And last but not least, we have Stella Safari with Zapenda. And Maniko, do you mind going video off? Thanks. All right, we can see you and we can see your presentation.
Awesome. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Stella Safari, and I am the founder and CEO of Zapenda. I come from a very beautiful country in the middle of Africa called the Democratic Republic of Congo. I left Congo at a very young age due to the war that left millions of people displaced, including my own family. But against all the odds, I went on to graduate from Dartmouth College with a math degree. And a part of me always kind of remained in Congo. So I started taking trips back and found myself reconnecting through fashion. This is because Congo has a very deep culture of being fly, and because many tailoring initiatives popped up post-war, which has left an oversaturation of tailoring talent in the country. So there's so many skilled tailors that are seeking opportunity to earn a living wage and gain access to an international clientele. And so when I would come back, I would also get a lot of questions about where I got my clothes and where. I created Zapenda in order to bridge the gap between the tailors and this opportunity that exists throughout the world. So we combine traditional prints with contemporary styles, and this is how it works. Our customers can choose from our ready-to-wear collections, or they can choose to customize anything from our catalog by giving us their measurements and their style preferences, their fabric preferences, and their garment will be made by our tailors in Congo and delivered to them. And we've gotten that delivery time to about 10 days from Congo to here. And we have actually been in the market for a little while now, and we've been on our grind. So we are ready-to-wear brand. We sell mostly through cultural festivals. There are a lot of African festivals that happen throughout the country that bring out thousands of our target customer. And this is really amazing because it allows us to make authentic connections with our customers and also get their measurements, which helps us to create custom garments for them in the future, which is a much higher ticket price point. And we're also exploring brand partnerships and partnerships with boutiques to do wholesale and white labeling for them, because a lot of them don't have access to this manufacturing capability that we do. And so far, we have generated over 200,000 in revenue through our pop-ups and selling online, and a few brand partnerships. One of our holiday pop-ups generated over $32,000 in revenue. Our average order is around $175. And I'm most proud of the fact that we've supported over 200 families in Congo to date. We do have some competition out there with other ready-to-wear African-inspired brands. However, what sets us apart and why our customers really love us is because we do offer the ability to customize our clothing. And we found that this is something that customers are willing to pay 2 to 3 times more for. So with the $25,000 that we hope to secure today, we'll be able to invest in marketing. And
Sorry, I need you to cover that with the Q&A, which I'm sure you'll get a chance to. But Maggie, you want to hop in and ask the first question?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Stella. I'm curious to hear more about what your cost or margin share structure is with the tailors, or maybe that's too specific. If you could just tell us a little bit more about, how you share that cost structure overall with tailors.
So we actually employ the tailors full time. So we found that this is more sustainable for them. It's really volatile to, for a lot of tailors in Congo to be working one-off. So it's allowed us to have more impact and build stronger relationships and offer benefits to the tailors that we do work with. So we do pay them a salary.
Thank you.
So great job. Thank you. I would love to hear a bit more about how you would plan to use the $25,000 from TechRise.
So the 25K, we plan to use 30% towards marketing and PR. So this will allow us to pay for, the festivals and participating in those types of events. We'll also use a portion of it to build out some back-end technology to help us to start scaling our custom side of the business. And we'll also invest some of the funding towards a wellness fund for our tailors, so providing them with health insurance and continuing to provide more benefits.
Molly.
Thanks so much, Stella. What's been the most popular items that you've sold? Is it the clothing, or I don't know if you sell other products, or which product lines have been most successful? And then how has that informed your strategy moving forward?
Yeah. Actually, the most popular item we sell right now are bonnets. We have satin lined bonnets, and they've been one of our big hitters. And that has informed our strategy to partner with retailers and other brands to help them create their own kind of special line of satin line bonnets. I think it's really accessible, easy to understand, and kind of size exclusive. So that's been one of our popular sellers, but also our custom clothing, like the ability to kind of create your own garment, has also been one of our most popular services.
Monica.
If it's time for our last question, I was pleasantly surprised by the amount of delivery time of 10 days. How have you been able to ensure that, and how will you be able to ensure as you scale?
Yeah, I think that really speaks to the talent of our tailors in Congo. They are really, really good at what they do, and most of our tailors have over 10 years of experience. So we have actually partnered with DHL to be able to get, more reasonable pricing, even for smaller items that we can ship directly to the customer. So the turnaround time to make the garment is just like a day or two, and then to ship it takes about 3 to 5 days. So sometimes it gets there faster than the 10 days, which is kind of unheard of for garments made in Africa.
We have 8 seconds. Any final words?
I just want to say thank you for this opportunity, and this investment will really make a huge difference for my team immediately, and really impact the lives of so many people.
Great having you. All right, so now the judges have the unenviable job of going to decide who takes home $25,000 and who is our runner-up, which puts them in the running for the final $100,000 prize at the end of this year. Great job to all the founders and judges. We'll see you back in about hopefully 10 to 12 minutes. So hopefully you have some top choices in there. And while the judges are deliberating, I am thrilled to welcome Kim Lewis, CEO and co-founder of CurlMix, to the stage. As CEO and co-founder of Listener Brands, which includes CurlMix and 4C Only, Kim attributes her success to resilience and a strong work ethic. She started CurlMix in 2015 with DIY boxes for curly hair, and after 2 years of experimentation, she pivoted CurlMix in 2018 to focus on ready-made flaxseed gel, creating the first 4-step wash and go system. In 2019, Kim and her husband Tim turned down a $400,000 deal on Shark Tank. I wish I'd turned down mine. Good call on that one. Standing firm in their vision. They earned spots on Forbes 30 Under 30, Crain's Chicago Business, and 20 in their 20s. And CurlMix also made Oprah's Favorite Things list and ranked 93rd on the Inc. 5000 list. In 2021, CurlMix raised $4.5 million through equity crowdfunding from nearly 7,000 investors. And that following year, CurlMix's sales soared to $10 million annually, with over $30 million in lifetime sales. In 2023, CurlMix expanded into retail and continues its growth under Listener Brands. And Kim remains dedicated to creating stellar brands that listen. So it's awesome to see you again. Congrats on all the success you've had.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, well, right now there's people listening live that are hoping to someday follow in your amazing footsteps. And of course, these founders here today are listening. And so I'm curious if you could just talk a little bit about what gave you the courage to leap into this in the first place, and how did you choose CurlMix as the first product that you wanted to bring to life?
When I was in college, I got so many compliments on my hair. And people were always like, oh, what are you doing? How are you getting your hair? I like that. And at the time, there were not a lot of things available on the shelves. And so I was making stuff in my dorm kitchen, like the community kitchen. And then I remember after college, I was like, man, what better way to make your own products, or what better way to know what's in your own products and to make it yourself? And so CurlMix started as a do-it-yourself box for curly hair after actually watching an episode of Shark Tank, because one lady on the show, she had a DIY organic cookies company. And so essentially I was like, oh, I wonder if I could do this for hair. And I did it for hair, but the business economics, unit economics weren't working out. 30% margins, and typically you need 80 to 90% margins for a $30 product. So it's I can't compete with this version of my business. And so it then transformed into what you now know is mastering your curls in 21 days with our 4-step wash and go system. And there's just through so many different iterations of the brand. But initially it was to know what was exactly within my hair care products to make it myself. And then it evolved into a 4-step wash and go system.
Well, it takes a lot of courage. I'm going off script as usual. I hope that's okay. But it takes a lot of courage to turn down a Shark Tank deal in the moment. There's so much pressure. And so I'm curious, did you know going in that you were not going to agree to something below these terms? Or how can the kind of founders think about not making concessions really is the bigger question.
When I went to Northwestern's entrepreneurship program, it was like a 3 or 5 day program. I can't remember. You're locked away at school, and I learned about that. The better alternative to negotiating an agreement. So essentially, if you and this person can't come to an agreement, what is your alternative, right? And so in order to know whether or not you can come to an agreement, you have to know your limits on what you would agree to, right? So you have to know how much equity you would give up for what price. And I remember doing the practice pitch with the Sharks. You do it before this, you do it with the producers before you do it with the Sharks. And I just remember them kind of like trying to get me to like lower my valuation and stuff. And so then we went back and we had a discussion and we're like, okay, we lowered it, but we were already lowering it to even present it to the Sharks. So it was what we wanted. Then the producers were like, so we lowered it. And it's like, to me, we shouldn't be making decisions on valuation like this, just based on what you want to see on TV. And so when Robert cut that in half, I was like, oh, absolutely not. So we knew we were not giving up more than 15% of the company. We knew we'd have to raise more money in the future. And then that would determine the dollar amount. Right. And so Robert was not budging at all. And I was like, you don't know anything about the industry. Like, and I had talked to other founders so you got to vet your investors, right? So if you're going to take money from someone, ask as many people as you possibly can about that person, because you are stuck with them for the next 7 to 10 years, at least. And then I would also say they have to add more than just money. Because you're gonna spend that money, it's gonna be gone, and can they add in some other value? And then I would also say know your terms, and know what your limits are and why those are your limits, right? Don't just say like, I'm just not willing to give up more than 10%. I mean, it can be that, but like, what's the why behind that, right? Is it because you got to raise 5 more times? Is it because you don't want this person to own more than 10% so that you can get loans without having them to sign anything? You know what I mean? Like, what is the reason for that ownership stake? So I would say those are all things you need to know when you're pitching people.
Yeah. So funding for consumer products is so hard, especially in Chicago and the Midwest, where there's just not a lot of capital going into it. And so the appeal, of course, to saying yes to deals that are not great is certainly there. But I'm curious if you have any advice for founders who are thinking about fundraising in this market, in this city, because it is a challenge. And Shark Tank, it's not the holy grail that everyone thinks it is.
No, it's definitely not. And I've learned that, it's so funny after you go on the show, people who go on the show stop watching the show.
I know. Same.
Every person I've ever met who's on Shark Tank were like, they no longer watch it after you've done it. Cause it takes away all the allure, right? Like all of the glam. But,
how long was your shoot? Are you allowed to say?
Oh, it was like 45 minutes. It wasn't that long. It wasn't like
mine was 90.
Oh, wow. That's long.
It was so long.
Did you end up, what was your terms, or what did they offer? Or did you end up getting an offer?
We made a deal on this show that fell apart after, which is pretty common. But
yeah. I figured that might happen too for some folks. Yeah. Like 70% of the deals don't go through. But say raising in this market is incredibly tough. And even myself, like I've raised 4.5 million in my last crowdfund in 2021 in like a matter of days. This time around, it took me 60 days to raise 1.5 million. So it took even.
That's still really good.
Thank you.
You are a pro.
It was not enough. So my business is built to support 10 million. So we have we're down, right? But most people are. So it is what it is. And so I'm having to fundraise. And the approach I'm taking now is talking to my angel network who know the category. So people who believe in hair care, know that Shea Moisture was produced as a $1 billion company. They went into they sold in 2017 for $1.6 billion to Unilever, and they went into retail in 2008 for their first time ever. But they had been in business for like 20 years before then, up and down, whatever, family business. And so I am using that story when I'm talking to my angel investors and say, hey, yes, we're in a recession, but that's where the behemoths are born. And we are positioned very, very well to succeed in this recession because we have a .com business, which means that even though retail is suffering, everybody's suffering, right? But like, as far as digital curly hair, like we're a winner. And as long as we continue to win that way, then so I'm raising 200K checks, 250K checks from my high net worth angels and their network. So I got one big fish to kind of come along and say, hey, I'll give you 250 to 500. And she's like, you're raising another 2 or 3 million. Okay, great. I know this person. Like, let's have a webinar pitch where you sit and pitch them. And I show her my deck. My deck is super long. It's like 45 slides. I normally would not recommend a deck that long, but because this is a different industry, this is a different market. It's a different It's a different approach, right? So I'm almost treating it like a webinar call for like how you might for an information product, right? And I am getting, you know, highly successful Black women executives because they have extra cash they have to spend because they're making millions with their corporate job. And they want to invest in something that they care about. They care about legacy, and they want to get a good chunk of equity of something they think will do really well over the next several years in a recession, right? And Black women have to pay for their hair. Like we have to get our hair done. That is so important. Just your hair is 60% of your face.
Go to blondes, by the way. So we're both spending lots of money. No, I completely agree. And I think one of the most important things that you just touched on is the fact that you have this narrative that is typically connected with like SaaS or enterprise, right? Which is that you raise your first round of capital, then you raise more capital, and your valuation keeps going up, and it's theoretically this linear move. When you talk to most tech founders, it's still quite bumpy. But when you're thinking about consumer, where consumer needs change, people's spending habits change, competition changes, shelf space changes, how shelf space is consumed changes, your consumer products are facing a very different growth trajectory. And so it's critical that we educate investors along the way on what does it look like to invest in a product like yours, as opposed to, investing in a tech startup that could, get really big or honestly fall apart in 3 years. Like a product like yours can, like you said, be a generational business and brand.
I don't have to go with the same speed that everyone else has to go with. So that's realizing that. And then 2, being profitable. That was never something I had to worry about before. It was just like, can you show that you're doing 10 million, right? And so it was more about getting to the 10 million number. Then when we got to the 10 million, then we switched focus into retail, and that there were some challenges, right? And so because we also switched focus and we rebranded our products. And so my learnings have been, you don't have to go at the pace of tech VC, right? Or tech at all. And then you also need to be profitable so you control your destiny. You don't control your destiny if you're not profitable. So that is the lesson.
So 2020 hindsight, would you equity crowdfunding, we also did Republic back in the day, and it's something that honestly was part of the original Give Forward, my first crowdfunding platform, until we realized it was illegal before the Jobs Act. We had to nix that. But there is the kind of Kickstarter world, which is you're pre-selling your product. And then there's the equity side. And I'm curious, what advice you'd give to early stage founders with products. How should they think about?
I don't think equity crowdfunding is for businesses who have done less than 100,000 in revenue annually. Just because you need a crowd. Like you need people, I have a formula. I have an article in Inc. Magazine, .com, if you want to go check Inc.com. And I have a formula for how much I think you can raise based on how many followers you have, how many email subscribers, like how big your audience is. And it's like a percentage multiple. Because I don't think the reason we were able to do a $5 million crowdfund and then a $1.5 million crowdfund is I have a couple 100,000 customers who are online, who I have their emails for, phone numbers, and addresses. If I did not have those things, it would have been nearly impossible to raise that amount of money, right? And so I know sometimes I think early founders look at that as like a shiny silver bullet that will fix all their problems, right? And it just won't, right? And it's going to take you so much work, and it might be even a distraction. So my friends who I do recommend crowdfunding for, they typically have businesses that have done $1 million in revenue in lifetime or a few 100,000 in annual revenue because they have a customer base. If you are just getting started, I really feel like pitch competitions are the best way to get money, grants, accelerators, and then being so careful with how you spend that money. So careful and trying to grow organically as much as possible because it will allow you to sustain. That's what I recommend.
I completely agree, especially when, there's been a narrative that you go raise money, you quit your job, and then you go build as fast as you can. And then that's been the narrative for a while now. However, most of us have to have a day job to build and get these things off the ground. And so, bootstrapping as long as you can.
I was working in the business full time, and my husband, Tim, he quit his job, but I wish he had kept his job. Looking back, he was making $250 a year. Like he should have kept his job because we ended up sharing like 60 to 90,000, like 60,000 a year, which is crazy. It just covered our mortgage, and we ended up with a bunch of credit card debt. So like, I don't think that was the best idea at all. I think he should have definitely helped me in the business, but also he should have been working his $250,000 a year job, and then maybe once we hit 5 million, he could have like quit, or and waited until he was fired. You know what I mean? But I think that would have been the best. Approach.
The judges are coming back in a few seconds, but I did want to like double click on one other thing you said, where we both kind of touched on that. You were on Oprah's Favorite Things. You were on Shark Tank. Founders think of that as like, once you get that, you're just like a rocket ship. How can you kind of demystify?
Oh no, it's a spike in sales for that month, and then it goes away, and then you still have to do the work of growing on your own. So it is never Shark Tank. You'll have a bump, which will be great, but then it can be bad because you've changed all of your cost structures and your systems to handle that growth, and then you kind of go back down, and you're like, wait, now I got all these additional fixed costs, like more team members, extra packaging, extra things that you built for this launch event. So those things are really just like hot PR moments. And then you kind of go back to wherever your baseline was before that, literally almost immediately the next month.
Completely agree. Kim, thanks so much. And again, congrats on everything you've built. Excited to keep supporting you and seeing your growth. And thanks for continuing to build in Chicago. All right,
good luck, guys.
Judges. All right, founders. Sorry, let's come back on video on. And judges, who's going to announce the runner-up? All right, Maggie.
All right. So thank you. I guess, first of all, thank you all for your pitches today. You all did such a great job. Thank you so much. We're really thrilled to be a part of this. And pleased to announce that the runner-up today is Makini from Plait. Congratulations.
Congrats, Makini.
Thank you.
So she is in the running still for the grand finale, and anyone is also welcome back on the TechRise stage. And now for the winner of today's $25,000 brought to you in part by Get Cities is...
The winner today is FlashHoops. Congratulations, Veronica.
Congrats.
Thank you all so much.
We thought you had, solving a super important issue. You have some really interesting tractions and an awesome team doing it. So congratulations.
Thank you. Oh, this is so timely and helpful. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you to all of our amazing judges today. Thank you, Kim, for coming during the deliberation. Thank you, Stephen, for always being with us in their deliberation room and for your support. And then founders, just wonderful job. Know that we're here for you. This is just the beginning of your journey with TechRise. We have lots of great workshops and ways to support you as you grow your businesses, including Speed Round, which is another program we offer. And of course, welcome back on the TechRise stage. So congrats again, Veronica, and to your team. And we will see you all next week.